Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I rise today in opposition to this legislation, and I would hope that my colleagues will read it, look before they leap. It's called the Sportsmen's Heritage and Recreational Enhancement Act of 2013. But unfortunately, it's mired in a muck of text in the legislation that I think does just the opposite of enhancement. It ought to read, Kill the Habitat and Wildlife and Enjoy a Dead Forest Act. This bill diminishes the conservation measures designed to protect the habitat for wildlife by creating loopholes in the Wilderness Act and weakens the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA process. Title I, for example, amends the Toxic Substance Control Act to prohibit the EPA from regulating toxic substances contained in bullets, angling lures, and other hunting equipment with respect to toxic substances. Toxic substances. It's not just people that are affected by toxic substance, so are animals. And here they prohibit barring lead in bullets. Now, California is a big hunter state. And guess what? California state law prohibits the use of lead. Why? Because the federal government has spent millions, and millions of dollars trying to restore the California Condor. Does that count? Well, ask the Ventana and Post Ranch Inns. Post Ranch is $1,000 a night. Nobody can afford that, but it's filled all the time. Why? Because you can see condors and mountain lions and sea otters and other things that we've protected by protecting their environment. Now, what does a condor die from? It eats dead things. It eats things that have been killed by bullets. And it eats that lead, and guess what? It kills the condor. It's done it over and over again. There's no question about this. This is the #1 cause of death in condors in California after we spent all this money trying to get them restored. This act wipes all that out. It's going to hurt the economy. And you know what? People call themselves sportsmen. Sportsmen I know don't want to kill the wildlife by poison or destroying the habitat. That's why the bill passed in California, banning lead bullets. And this one prohibits states like California from doing that. You know, even the military is pursuing a lead-free environment for their small arms. So it's a serious problem. And this bill bans that. This is nuts. Lead poisoning from ammunition is the way you kill off wildlife. Not by a good shot. You kill it off by the poison that's left behind. And that's why Governor Brown signed into law a ban on lead bullets. And they phase it in to 2019. This allows at least 30 other states, follows what at least 30 other states have already done in regulating lead ammunition in some manner. So if we want to really protect and enhance the environment, then we ought to do what the original conservationists did. Who were the hunters? By switching to non-toxic ammunition and allow them to continue on good conservation efforts, which is a heritage of hunters in this country. So this legislation is a step backwards for a sportsman. I'm a fisherman. I certainly don't want to put stuff in the ocean or in lakes that is toxic. And conservation practices that protect our public lands, our open spaces, and our wilderness areas. So I urge my colleagues to look before you leap. Don't jump in and just because there's a bunch of people endorsing this bill, look at the type. Look what it does. Look at the small print. And I urge you to oppose this legislation until it can really be legislation that will be a sportsman's heritage and a recreational enhancement act. As now, it deserves your opposition.